Beyond the Ring, a podcast that covers all things in the stock show industry from the informative to the insane, starring Ryan Rash.
My crazy sees your crazy and raises you a little chaos.
And Dale Hummel.
God save the Queen, man.
Now on with the show.
Welcome to Beyond the Ring. This is Dale Hummel, along with co-star Ryan Rash.
Hello, hello, hello.
And this week we also have the fan favorite, Chase Hummel. He's joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Lend some insight wherever you can. Chase, how's that sound?
I'd love to.
I would like, Ryan, you good to leave him in current events? Maybe you and I could just kind of relax in current events. Let him ramble.
I have some things.
Well,
Chase.
You jump right in.
you just have to chill out for a minute, Chase. I love you, but so I know that y'all think that I just beat a dead horse on all these things, and that's okay because I'm gonna beat it I'm gonna make sure he's gonna do. If y'all have time this week, you'll need to go on Twitter or Google or something and pull up the interview where Dale's, I think they're actually related, but definitely Dale's favorite Democratic Senator, Fetterman, is introducing Biden at some kind of rally or something. He's trying to talk. He can't talk. It's a mess. He's trying to say infrastructure, and he just
it did not come out once.
It was like frustructure, and he was in a hoodie and gym shorts, and it's just
he was in a hoodie and gym shorts on stage with Biden, trying to introduce Biden, and I don't know which one is more coherent. Relatively speaking.
Well, I don't know, because then at a different, it's like a coin toss on the given day or whatever, because then Biden's at some other thing and he goes off on this rant about nothing. And then at the end, he says, God save the Queen, man. I'm like,
yes, he did.
Excuse
Said it twice,
me, sir, we beat the Queen's ass to form our own country. So I don't know where this is coming from, but I
believe the former Queen is passed.
Yeah, there is no Queen. There's a king right now.
Where would that come from?
Dude, he is whacked out. I mean, this is, yeah. I can't. I'm going to have a legit heart attack.
Okay, you thought
before this presidential election.
You thought that was bad. What about his statement when he comes out? And I recorded this so I could get it. I could paraphrase, but get close. So he comes out in a press conference or addressing somebody. I don't know what it was in, but he states the Chinese leadership did not know where the balloon was, nor what was in it. This is the Chinese spy balloon. He's trying to tell us that the Chinese leadership really didn't know anything about it. No. Then he states it was more embarrassing for the Chinese than it was intentional. Further goes on and hopes that the next couple of weeks he can meet with President Xi and they can get along. So he's trying to tell us the Chinese were not aware that the balloon was over the U.S. They were not aware of what was on the balloon, all the spy equipment, and they're pretty much embarrassed about it. It was more about them, an embarrassing situation for them rather than an intentional spying plan.
Right.
How does any American, let alone our president, say something like that? Say something that ignorant? Do you assume that they've got him by the balls over something?
Well, I don't know, because who knows what the deal with China? Every single day there is something new about Hunter and Joe and Burisma, and today came out that after Joe, when he was vice president, went over to Ukraine to get the dude that was, how this all started. There was this, I don't know, attorney general type. I don't know what they call it in Ukraine. But anyway, attorney general type was investigating Hunter's Burisma when Hunter was on the board and the guy who was running the company. And so Joe goes over there and tells Ukraine that they're not going to get any more money from the United States unless they fire that guy. So that guy does get fired. Okay. So they come back from this trip, and the next day, Hunter and the co-founder of Burisma and like 5 other people, they're all like partying up at the vice president's naval, whatever they call that thing that he lit. Yeah. It's just, it's too much. It's too much
a lot
for me.
It is a great. I'm very fortunate that we're in our southern sales season, and I am not watching much news, Ryan, and I'm a better person for it.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
I did catch another Chinese situation. Did you hear about the spy station in Cuba?
No, I did not.
Yeah, there's a spy station less than 100 miles off our coast. They can intercept electronic signals from nearby U.S. military base, and they say commercial buildings. This has been up and running since 2019, and it appears as though the Biden administration has done everything they can to keep this under wraps.
That's lovely.
No, it's not. I don't think people truly understand. Maybe our listeners do, but our general population has no idea the seriousness of the Cold War, economic Cold War, whatever you want to call it, between us and China. Chase, can you enlighten them on where we're going with China?
China is growing in power to an extreme level. We were just talking with Hernan. He's a man we work with. He does repro stuff for us. And he says that throughout South America, China is buying up the lithium mines left and right because they are trying to vertically expand on a national level, trying to encompass every industry, trying to get their fingers into everything. And at this point, they have not just hard power in a lot of these nations in Africa and South America, where they've gotten the rights to ports or mines or resources or whatever, but they also kind of have Europe by the balls, to use former terminology, because they're getting that soft power in Europe because they're investing in these smaller European nations and buying their loyalty.
It's not going to end well.
Well, according to you, nothing's going to end well, Dale. So, I mean,
between China and us, I'm just telling you right now, it will not. There will be nothing good to come of this.
Okay, so in other things, and I know, like, by the time I don't even know what day this is anymore because I've been on the road since the 31st, but this will be released, I'm looking at the calendar, on the 23rd. So basically, when y'all hear this, we'll have like 1 week of this godforsaken Pride Month left. And then I can like not bash Pride for a year, hopefully. But anyway.
You were in Los Angeles a couple days ago.
No, I was not in fucking Los Angeles.
What were they, the trans?
Dale, I've been on the road since the 31st. This is not the time to mess with me, sir. I am cranky.
I saw you on TV.
I am cranky. I am not joking. Like, I know when I'm cranky, and I am cranky.
What was going on at the Dodger Stadium? The trans nuns.
They had the damn drag nuns out there.
How could they why would they honor them? For what?
I do not know.
You are the gay of the world. Tell me.
Why do these people do all this stupid shit they do during this month? I do not get it.
It did not benefit anyone.
No, there was like 3 people in the stadium besides the drag nuns. Anyway, I don't. Like, and again, this is going to offend a bunch of people when I say this, and everybody has a right to do whatever they want with religion. I do not think that it is right for anyone, whether you're a drag whatever, or to make fun of someone else's religion, because that is, deeply personal. And so I don't condone the drag nuns of it all or whatever. But I also think like religion is the world's oldest Ponzi scheme. So, but like What'd you say, Chase?
Thank you for calling it out.
I'm just saying, I firmly believe that. I think there's a God. I talk to God. This whole organized religion I have issues with. But I don't think it is right for anybody to like make fun of someone else's religion, much less just celebrate it, put it on display at the LA Dodgers and all the, oh my God. Like, I think it can't get worse every year. And then they surpass shit. And now they're all talking about how that Pride Month isn't about letting people know who they sleep with and all this other stuff. It's about the struggles that they've overcome, and to know that the person across the street, that's what I think it's all bullshit.
I did not see any rainbows, unicorns, or butterflies in Los Angeles on the demonstration.
Oh my God, then you didn't look very hard.
No, of the
they're in every airport, Dale.
No, the trans nuns did not come across that way. I've seen plenty. I was in.
No, they're not trans. They're drag nuns. They make fun of the Catholic religion.
I don't even know the difference. That's where I'm at.
It's not that
mess.
Drag is just a
you're a
dressing
homophobe, Dale. But anyway,
only when I'm around you.
So anyway, so that's bad. But like, no, evidently I did not do a good job explaining last week about this Garth Brooks situation, and I've got a lot of heat from it and a lot of. But I'm gonna tell y'all something. I don't care if y'all love Garth Brooks. I don't care. He is wrong. He is wrong in this situation. And I know that he's got $19 million or whatever. He's a billionaire, whatever. This whole embracing all this crap and wokeness, and that if he would have done this when his first album was out, he wouldn't be no millionaire, billionaire, whatever the hell he is, and he wouldn't have any gold record hit. No, it's bullshit. Garth,
he'd be run out of the bar at OSU that he was singing in.
Garth, dude, you're off your rocker on all of this. I don't care. And all you little rabid little Garth fans, just go ahead and send me all your hate mail. I don't give a shit.
I think they should. Can you state your email just for everybody?
They all send it to my Facebook anyway. You know that thing that you don't check? Yeah. And so, but
I do not have any knowledge of what Garth has done.
Garth has a bar. Garth has a bar, and he is embracing. He's made it very public that Bud Light is going to be sold there, and everybody, all this other shit, and that we're all wrong. Or I don't even drink beer, so it's not me boycotting Bud Light and all this other yada nonsense. I mean, again, like I said last week, and y'all can go Google fact check this shit. He like played at a Hillary Clinton fundraiser and all this other stuff. Like, he's not on the right side of all this. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Are you done?
And I don't know. I need, again, I have been on the road too long, and during Prime, I need this month to be over. I need this month to be over. Like, I'm serious. Like,
make you happy to talk about some of the primary candidates on the Republican side.
Yeah, go right ahead. That idiot mayor that we don't even know who he is. Yeah, go right ahead.
What is his name?
I don't know.
I think
he's from Florida. There's like 16 Republican presidential candidates from Florida.
Francis Suarez, maybe
something. I don't know.
What about the Vivek? I cannot pronounce his last name. I won't even try. The 37-year-old entrepreneur and author. He actually sounds pretty good on Fox News.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He's crazy.
he speaks well. I like some of his ideas. And he would only be a few years older than you.
Yeah, that's great. And you know what? The whole thing is you can say all this other stuff. This second indictment's in, whatever. Like I said, I think this one has more legs to it, whatever. All the new polling's out. Trump has gained ground in the Republicans, and he's dead even in the head-to-heads with Biden's. So, again, but I am going to state something, and y'all will all say that I'm crazy, and that's fine. Do you know what really needs to happen?
What really needs to happen?
What really needs
Joe
to
needs
happen?
impeached. That's what needs to happen.
Well, true, but
that wouldn't even do us any good. Then we got
no. If you impeach Joe, then you'll get a stronger candidate because anybody could be stronger than Joe. So that's a bad idea. But this is the year, or the presidential election. Excuse me, because it's not this year. That the third party candidate could win. If there was. Like, I'm not going to lie. I don't know anything about Ross Perot other than he's the only third-party candidate that ever got any traction, and he got like 20% of the vote or whatever. This would be the year that person could win.
Was there not somebody talking about it?
No, there's a third party that's getting on these ballots, but they don't have a candidate. There's a third party, and I don't even know what the name it is, that are getting signatures to have their candidate
I think we write in the gay. The gay.
Yeah, that'd be great. just
You meet all the
wonderful.
qualifications, right?
Yeah, I'm you're a citizen and I'm over 35. Yep.
You're over
So.
35?
Yes, still, I'm over 35.
Wow.
I know. Botox does wonders. But yeah, no, you're laughing. I'm serious. If there was someone like a Tulsi Gabbard or something, like that woman makes amazing sense. Like, again, she's really good. But if there was somebody like that, they would win.
I'm perfectly fine with that as long as they're conservative.
Jesus.
Perfectly fine. I do. I want anything we can do to get a conservative person in the White House. And we know who the Republican candidate's going to be. That is a given. I am not still sold that Joe will be the candidate because I have a feeling they're going to give him the boot before it happens. I hope not, but I am worried that they're going to get rid of him somehow. And under that circumstance, you're right. A third party candidate that was good would have a chance.
Like Joe Exotic.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
if Joe
Joe
would be the
Exotic.
one.
There you go.
I do
Dale's
not
other
know
hero.
I don't know if that one would get enough traction.
And then, do you have other current events, Dale?
I'm good.
Okay, well, I have to bring something up. So anyway, Dale always is on my shit about social media. Well, his beautiful, talented, gorgeous daughter wins the GOAT. What is the name of the show? I don't want to get that wrong.
Junior Nationals. You can relate to that part.
American Board Goat Association Junior Nationals. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, so this post goes up, all this other stuff, and like my snaps, all these 9,000 different reasons why people are snapping me, but anyway, or messaging me. But a lot of them are about me being certified to do this boar.
You got
goat.
certified?
No.
You're going to get certified.
No, I'm not. No, I'm
yes.
not. No, I'm not.
Anybody that would like Ryan to get certified?
I'm going to explain
certified.
Again. I'm going
Message
to
him. Message
They
him.
have. That's the point of this. I am trying to explain this. So I appreciate all that. Thank y'all for wanting me to be certified or whatever. Hey, number one, I don't believe in being certified to judge things because it's just an opinion. So therefore, I don't know why anybody should be able to tell you you have to pass a test to give your opinion. Number two, that is not the important thing. You know, we have lots of kids that are very successful in the BTRJLA that do all this stuff. I have no problems with any of this. I'm not going to do it. And the main reason that I am not going to do it is because they tell you what you can wear.
Oh no.
They do. I don't know that much about it, but I believe they do.
I'm pretty positive.
Yeah, the even the commercial does and the weathers had a kind of a. I'm a little colorblind, but I say maroon.
Everything was maroon. Everything is maroon.
And the ABGA judge had like a maroon sports jacket.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not aware that it's.
And maybe it just is that show. I don't know, but anyway, there are other reasons.
You don't have to wear that when you're judging a show at the county fair or I don't even think it's state. I think it's just that show, but I really do not know.
Well, all these people were messaging me because they want me to be certified so I can judge that show. I am not judging any show that anybody tells me what I can wear. Like that is just against all of God's
draw
plans.
The line.
That is against all of God's plans. All of them. Like I can't. And again, maroon. Ugh.
Is that like last year's color or something?
No, dude, you realize that I did not want to go to A&M. I think they brainwashed people there. I was made to go there. I do not own anything maroon. I am not one of those typical Aggies that their socks and underwear and all that. No, no, I can't. So anyway, no. But anyway, that was the point of this. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad that y'all want to. It is not happening. It is not. So just let it go.
Never say never.
Never.
No,
and I think if you get enough messages, I think you'll think about it. If they all come out and message you.
No.
Don't speak too harshly of A&M. I got a friend who's going there. He's very enthusiastic. Though, yes, I think they bring.
Because he probably went to one of them little brainwashing camps.
He did.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. See, I didn't go to that shit, and that's why I'm normal.
You skipped out on those?
No, I didn't go to any of that. No, I did not do any of that shit. You think that? No. No.
Okay, let's quit picking on A&M.
Pick on A&M my ass. There's nothing wrong with that school. You get a great education and all this other. Those people are insane.
I do not.
When it comes to all of that. No, that's a whole nother podcast.
They are loyal.
No, brainwashed.
Loyal. Proud to be.
They more than proud.
Kind of like the Gay Pride Month deal.
Oh, shut up. Don't even try. No, oh, God.
Are you ready for BTRJLA?
I would not even compare Texas A&M to the Gay Pride idiots, okay? Like, seriously, no.
As in they're more or less, because I can't really tell.
No. I think that the Aggies have some issues with their school spirit, but they are not those crazy people that do this pride bullshit.
They're all drinking the maroon Kool-Aid.
Look, I was just in Omaha last night, and there was 9 million freaking drunk people walking around with baseball bats. I don't want to talk about shit anymore, okay? Like, that can't be safe for people. It can't. Like, and again, I was not worried about me at all because everybody looked at me and knew I was not there for baseball. But, like, I'm serious. These people are in another freaking time zone drunk, and every other one of them has a baseball bat in their hand. This is not a safe situation.
Oh, dear.
It's not.
I think it's entertaining to listen to.
Oh, I had a great time, but I'm telling you, LSU is there, and I know those people. I like those people. I party with those people because one bad Yankee comment about LSU and that bat is swinging. I'm just telling you, like, it's on. But next, BTRJLA. So this week we are going to do the top 10 junior lambs, and I think I'll be okay on the names. In first place from Oregon, Addison Zerbach. Second place from Oregon, Macy Zerbach. Third place, Alfred McDaniel. Fourth place, Briscoe Black from Texas. Alfred McDaniel is from Texas too. In fifth place is Catherine Schreier from Wisconsin. Sixth place is Taya Winden from Colorado. Seventh is Paisley Carlson of California. Eighth is Addison Irwin of Texas. Ninth is Cinch Ward of California. And 10th is Holly Switzer of California. There you go.
That's
not one Arizona person. That's insane. Normally, but so that is the top 10 in junior lambs this week. And I want to bring up one of our regional sponsors that was a regional sponsor last year and is also a regional sponsor for this year. And that is Stock Show Therapies. So we really appreciate them. Stock Show Therapies utilizes MagnaWave and other natural modalities to provide livestock competitors with a unique edge. We work with animal athletes to improve range of motion, alleviate inflammation, increase appetite, prevent injury, and recover from strenuous exercise. Stock Show Therapy specializes in meeting the performance need of competitive livestock. So we greatly appreciate Stock Show Therapies for being a regional sponsor for 2 years in a row. So check them out.
Excellent. Thank you to those Stock Show Therapies. Also, thank you to ShowFresh H2O. This product is backed by science. It's very simple. It neutralizes the chlorine found in city water. That's going to allow your animals to likely be more accepting of that city water and drink. Nothing more complicated, nothing more simple. Ultimately, this is an insurance policy to make sure your animals will drink. ShowFresh H2O can be purchased at your local supply store, show trailer, or at swampfox.com. It is time. It is time. Well, we did bring Chase into the ring for this episode to shine some light upon the other activities that are available outside of showing livestock or competing in a livestock judging team.
You didn't even, you're always freaked out about the damn title, and you didn't even say the title.
Read it. Other opportunities for success. Other opportunities for success. So Ryan brought this to my attention probably a long time ago. I don't know, But we decided here a few days ago that this would be the week to bring this in.
Yesterday.
And when we talk about this, we talk a lot about the youth stock show industry, a lot about showing. We talk a considerable amount about livestock judging. And we did bring Chase.
We don't talk enough about that. We need to have another topic about that. But anyway.
We can do that. So Chase, you have shown a little bit, and I can kind of share with our listeners. I'm going to say Chase has shown a goat, maybe a pig, a few times. Probably can count them on your hand.
He's so hateful
two
to you,
hands.
Chase. So
And Chase, and just so our listeners are aware, and I think some of them probably already are. Chase has not chosen to go down that path. That was not his strong interest. Is he good about going out and feeding the recips and the lots, or helping with flush day today? All those things, absolutely.
That's because you have a whip and are a slave driver. Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that, but he's for various reasons, and Chase, maybe you can share them with the audience, chose not to go into the ring. So he's found other avenues to find success in the animal sciences or stock show world. Chase, any thoughts?
I mean, I'll just recap in short my show experience. It was that I tried to show goats when I was little. Maybe I was just too little to get them stuck good, but I was just never very good at it. And then
neither was my brother, and he kept doing it, so don't worry.
Yeah, I figured I probably wouldn't beat Tara or Katie in the ring anytime soon, and actually I wasn't even getting close to them, so I figured, okay, my parents want me to show something, anything. Like, there was no option of not showing, so I showed a rabbit.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I was real rebellious. It was like my teenage rebellion streak.
Was it a pen of rabbits, or was it just a rabbit?
A rabbit.
A rabbit. Okay, so not trying to steal your
Chase,
thunder here.
I don't think we forced you into showing the rabbit.
Let Chase tell his story. Don't intimidate him.
I want to tell a quick story. It was a doe rabbit, a female rabbit.
I have to ask Chase a question. This isn't about you.
This is I have a story. I don't have stories very often.
Fine, get it off your chest.
You can. Chase, what breed was it?
Californian.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I don't remember.
Clearly.
But for under $100, you can buy like a national champion, Ryan. This was the best thing ever. Best thing ever.
Yeah.
And showed it for like 3 or 4 years until it got something called smut, and then it was done. But for less than $100, you had a show animal for many years that did well.
Story.
That's my story.
Chase, so I have a question for you about this rabbit thing, because when my stepsister's first year, she had a pen of meat rabbits, and she did nothing with them, and I had to do it. So anyway, I don't know if that's different than your single bunny, but like, did you have to clean their ears and all this bullshit?
No, we just showed up to the county fair with it once a year.
Oh
for like 1 or 2 years.
I had to clean these freaking bunnies' ears like twice a week, so they didn't get canker sores or something and be disqualified.
What kind of rabbits did you have?
Meat rabbits.
Okay.
And then they would claw you and bite you. It was the worst.
Oh, yeah, they claw real nasty.
Oh, my God. It was awful.
The best thing about rabbits, you don't have to handle them very often, but when you do, be prepared for a fight.
Oh, it was tragic. But, yeah. Okay. So, Chase, you showed the bunny, and you showed the pig, and you showed the goat. And
I showed pigs 2 years, and we actually had a decent number of hogs. I think we had at least 3 the first year and had like 6 the second year. 2 of them were technically mine. 2 of them were technically Katie's. 2 of them were technically Tara's. But I ended up doing most of the feeding and cleaning and stuff. So, pigs, I thought they were different from goats. I like that they seem smarter than goats by a fair bit, but they're also pretty headstrong.
Yeah, they're so smart. It's bad. Yeah, I agree.
So that was something. And eventually, I just didn't show pigs the next year because I was like, didn't really. I was never that passionate about it, and they were taking up space in the barn, so I was just like, okay, I'm just not going to show anything. And every once in a while, my parents would say, okay, Chase, we got an extra doe. Can you bring it in the ring or something like that? But I just never was much of a showman.
But you found the skill-a-thon of it all.
Yes,
and you loved that. And that's the whole point of this topic. And whether if you're somebody like Chase that's in a livestock family that maybe you're not just like bit with the show bug, or you just want to like be like me and like kick everybody's ass in every competition known to man, there are other ways, there are other avenues to succeed that are very accessible to livestock show exhibitors. The skill-a-thon is one of those. And here in a little bit, we're going to let Chase, talk in great detail about that. But right now, the reason that we did this episode is there's a lot of state FFA conventions going on, a lot of 4-H roundups going on, and there's a lot of regional and national events and all the different species and breeds that are going on right now. And all of those shows or things have these leadership contests. And I mean, they range from everything from photography to cooking contests to method demonstration, public speaking, every single type that you could think of. There are quiz bowls and quizzes and sales talk. And I mean, literally, like, I know a lot of people that find it difficult to speak in public or in front of a crowd. They're not just all, you can, if you want to, there is a way to find something else other than just showing livestock at these things that you can probably be quite successful in. It may not be public speaking. Maybe it's a quiz. Maybe it's these other things. Maybe it's skill-a-thon. I don't know. But it is so extensive in the different varieties and the different things that you can do and compete that there are a lot of opportunities for kids all throughout the nation to have other opportunities to be successful and win stuff and become accomplished. And that's why I think this is a real good thing to talk about, even though it's not per se strictly livestock show ring oriented. So, Dale, what is your take on leadership contest in general?
Okay. And I'm going to go refer back to some of the FFA contests. And we just returned home from the state convention here in Illinois. Recognition for, I don't know how many different competitions, but there is, if you have any interest in anything, you're going to find something you can compete in. Chase was honored as the state proficiency winner in terms of goat placement, and was also recognized as one of the finalists for star placement at the state of Illinois, and will be going on, or he's sending an application to hopefully get into the national competition in goat placement. So I'm gonna speak on that just a little bit, and then Chase can also speak on it. But there's a lot of different things. This one involves you working for somebody else, or Chase in this situation working here at Hummel Livestock, documenting what they're doing, documenting their hours, and then instead of owning the animals, they're obviously just working at that place, but gathering as much knowledge and having as much input and into the operations they possibly can. I believe, if I remember correctly, Chase, from the being on stage there, some of the videos, I believe another star placement worked at a restaurant, another one worked on a dairy farm. I mean, you can work anywhere and be involved, and then you can actually take that project and go compete at your section level, hopefully to the district and then to the state and possibly a national finalist. Creed speaking. Ryan, you would have been a great creed speaker.
I was.
You were a creed speaker.
Yes.
A national champion?
No, not a national champion, but
that surprises me a little bit. I would have thought that would have been right there for you.
I got really, really close, but I didn't get the national championship.
Could you still do it? You still don't know the creed?
I believe in the future of agriculture, with the faith born, not of words, but of deeds. Achievements, I can still do it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of things. And one area that it was interesting here just a couple of years ago, Chase has a strong interest in learning. I noticed a few years ago he was interested in the different livestock breeds and the history and things like that. So we decided to toss him into the state skill-a-thon contest. His first year went in zero preparation, I think maybe just outside the top 10. And then we actually prepared for it the following year. And Chase, you can kind of tell us a little bit about how that resonated with you.
Well, I mean, I remembered the skill-a-thon from years prior that I kind of got it handed to me because I went in with zero prep. And I mean, if you go in with zero preparation, I figure that's about what you deserve.
Well, that's every competition in life.
Yeah. So I'm not super prepared for the first one. I kind of vaguely remember that one, and I'm thinking, oh, that's a lot of stuff. When my dad mentions that there's going to be a skillathon again at this state fair. So about, 2 weeks, Dad, prior?
Probably, yes.
So maybe 2 weeks before, we just start studying breeds and going over sample quizzes, because skillathons are a thing that happen in states across the nation. So there's a lot of study material out there if you know where to look. There's Quizlets. There is practice tests online on some university websites. A lot of great stuff. So he just had me going over these for about 2 weeks. And it wasn't super intensive, but I put my back into it trying to get these. I'd go into the Quizlet and I'd try to get the best time, because it was a time-based system of matching the breed to the description and name. And it showed you a leaderboard of everybody else who'd ever done this thing. And I wouldn't move on to the next thing until I'd beaten the leaderboard. It was a bit of prep, and I still felt vastly underprepared when I finally went into this thing at State Fair, because this year they hosted it in a much more trafficked area, so a lot more kids heard about it, showed up, and I was a little nervous, but I went into the state skillathon, and I felt pretty good. I got to meet some other kids who were there who'd also been practicing, because the way it worked was that the national team was going to be made up of the top 4 kids who won the state skillathon.
That's because you people cheat. But anyway.
Oh, cheat? How do you mean that?
Because Texas, we don't get to do that shit.
So just
what now?
Just for clarification, some states have to send a team from a specific school or county, I should say.
Yeah.
A school, and if it's FFA county, if it's 4-H. And this is the national 4-H one that they were preparing for, where Chase in Illinois and other states, not just Illinois, Ryan, that is made up of an all-star team. And I would hate to agree with Ryan. I don't call it cheating because it is legal. It's totally bound by your state rules and regulations. But it is interesting that
it's not cheating.
At the national contest, you may a team from Texas or another state that has to be within county is competing against an all-star team from the entire state.
Right. The whole thing that drives me nuts on this is, again, I just think it is not cheating, and I don't mean that. I was just joking, but I think that at some point everybody should play by the same set of rules. This should be mandated that either we're all every state that does this is gonna have the top 4 from their state, or they're all gonna have to be in their county or whatever. All this stuff. I cannot understand. For instance, I'm gonna hate on my state. I cannot understand why Texas does not just take if it's legal, and it is legal to take the top 4 kids in all these different countries. Why would you not do that?
Okay, I can clarify. I've asked the extension people this question, and it comes down to the state determines what their rules are. And
I get it, and these people that aren't.
So you're saying
raise
your hand and change the rules for.
Yes, if you got to compete against the best 4 in all these other states, yes, change the rules. Oh my God, it just drives me.
Now, what's?
I am too competitive of a person.
But what's interesting is some of those states that pull from a county will still win in the livestock and in the skillathon. Not maybe.
But think of how much easier it could be to win if they just did the top 4.
Oh, you would. I can't tell you what an advantage that generally is. I mean, sometimes you'll have a great team from one county and it may not matter. But in general, I can tell you that really works well for the states that take the all-star teams.
Oh, yeah. And then, and like I said, Chase found his neck on the skillathon thing, and they went the distance. They literally... I had to sit there and endure the banquet at Louisville. So, I mean, I get it, but, and that's good. And like I said, if that is your avenue, that's fine. If you like to speak, there are so many different speaking contests, all this other stuff. I like to, just because I always showed heifers, even when I was little, but when we got serious into the heifer deal, we were always super serious about the steer deal, but when we got really serious in the heifer deal, we went to Simmental Junior Nationals, and the semi deal really back then, and still to this day, but back then they were kind of like on the forefront of having more contests than I can even name. So me and my mother both being crazy competitive knew that we were going to this deal. And so I spent several weeks prior to the Simmental Junior Nationals doing these quizzes, figuring out sales talk, gathering materials for public speaking, all of this stuff. And so we go to the show and I'm doing all these contests and all this other stuff. And we have our 2 heifers there and all this other stuff and this band of Rastafarian fitters, and nobody's real happy that the little steer boy from Texas is there anyway. But the funniest thing is we go to the banquet at the end of the week, and we're sitting at a table with some people that we know that have been to several Simmental Junior Nationals and all this other stuff. And they look at me and Cherie, and they did not mean this ugly in any way. They're like, just, if you don't do well in these contests, don't worry about it. These kids practice all year long for this. This is, what they do from the time they get out of school. This is all they're consumed with. And I'll never forget, one of the fitters looks at John Ben and he said, "That boy's been doing nothing but studying. They think he's fixing to get his ass kicked." I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I did very, very well and made very, 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 very few friends and lots of enemies. But I do think I did not know that I would enjoy that when it started, but I really did look forward to those contests at every junior national we went to.
And I think they're still going strong today. And it's across breeds, Ryan, that there's some of the most unique events. And I don't even believe, I don't know this for a fact, but I assume there's some that you don't even have to be showing. If you're a sibling, maybe you don't have an animal there, you can probably compete in some of those events. So that's all good.
There's a lot of people that go to those junior nationals that don't even show cattle. They just go for the stuff.
And that's great. And I want to give some insight, I guess, from a parenting standpoint and use Chase as an example. And I would like to reach out to a lot of those parents that have multiple children. Some of them are tearing it up in the show ring and absolutely passionate, love it, all those things. It is my belief that if you have one that maybe isn't that passionate about it or not that driven or not that excited about getting the show ring, take time to find what that is. It just needs to happen. There's so many things that can be done. And I don't care what it is, but I think the nature of competition in general, now I'm saying competition, not participation, but getting kids to compete against each other and build a competitive spirit is huge. And not just for that event.
It is vital.
In life, if you don't have some competitive spirit to you, you're going to get run over. It just is what it is. So reach out, find what they feel passionate about and will be competitive with. Let that foster that competitive spirit.
And I think, talking about your situation with Chase and all the children and multiple, I know multiple families that have a couple, like maybe every single kid is just eating up with showing, but I know lots of families that, 1 or 2 are, and there's another one that, goes through and does it. But like you said, you've got to find them something that they get passionate about, that they get competitive about, and lights a fire under them. Because just like you said, Dale, in real world, outside of the show ring, if you are not a competitive person, whether it is in your career or anything else, you are literally going to get left in the dust. And what I believe is one of the greatest things about the junior livestock deal, whether it is through public speaking contests or skillathons or showing animals or all this other stuff, that all these ways that we do, is we still stress, believe in, push kids to attain individual success. We don't believe in participation trophies. We're not into groupthink and all this other stuff. We want you to know what success and failure on an individual, personal level feels like. Because until
on you, it's not something you can blame somebody else.
Yeah. And again, it takes a team to get this animal into the ring. You and several other people coach the all-star team of Illinois Skeleton. But when it comes down to it, it was me taking that steer in the ring or Chase going into that skeleton contest to fill out those tests, identify whatever the hell you have to do, all those things. And you've got to know what it is like, not only to win, but also to fail on that individual level, because I promise you, when you experience both of those sensations, feelings, all that other stuff, you are going to want to do a whole lot of more of the winning than the losing in your life.
Very, very well put, Ryan. And I think that exactly sums up what I wanted to get across in this episode. And Chase, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Done that enough. The poor boy's never going to come back on here again.
Prior to Skeleton, Chase, would most of family and friends considered you ultra competitive, kind of laid back? Where would you be?
I wasn't a very competitive person. I'd gotten a good taste of failure in terms of showing, hadn't really tasted much success, and just never really felt that competitive drive.
Okay. Once you won the state contest and decided to prepare for the national, where would you say your competitive drive was at that point?
I can answer it if he lies.
I'll tell you, it's that going into that state skeleton, I was very concerned about even making top 4 to make national team, because there was a kid there who'd won the past 3 years in a row, who's a now good friend of mine, Drew, and I was just so concerned about not being able to make it that I wouldn't be good enough for this final team. And I went in there, and there's some things I didn't feel very sure about. There was this marketing section because the Chicago Mercantile Exchange sponsors the whole thing, so they got to throw in a little marketing section you probably wouldn't see anywhere else.
I believe it is un-American that anybody from Chicago sponsor anything to do with the livestock show, but that's just me. Okay,
it's the Chicago, at least historically, they were a livestock exchange.
Yeah.
So I can. All right. The point is that I was so worried about how I would do. This was one of the first times I was truly concerned about how I'd place, because I wanted to make this national team. And I remember when they started reading off placings, like they read off placings for individual parts of the contest for like breed identification or the general knowledge quiz or quality assurance. And my name started popping up, like a second in one thing, third in another, first in another. And I'm thinking, like, my mom and dad could probably attest to this. This is just this grin growing across my face that they could see from the stands, because this was taking place in the cattle arena in the new heifer barn, or the heifer barn where it's the heifer barn below, pig barn above. You get the idea at State Fair. It doesn't matter. So they're across an arena, and they can see just this smile spreading ear to ear as they start to read off these different individual placings and these different individual parts of this larger skillathon. And when they finally read off champion, it was about the happiest I've ever felt. Just that I worked hard to study before this contest, and I put in the hours, and it paid off in success. And now I had a chance to win at an even larger contest a couple months later.
And how did that spur? I mean, from that, did that change your perspective on how you approach things as far as competition?
Yes, absolutely. Before, every competition to me was, if I win, okay. If I lose, okay. After that, after winning state, it showed me that this is something where I can succeed. This is a field where I can do incredible things if I work hard enough. And that was a game changer for me. And every Sunday we'd meet up and we'd go through hours of practice doing breed identification, meat identification, hay judging, wool judging, things that I had never done before, but I went into them knowing that if I worked hard, I could succeed.
Excellent. And that bit of confidence that you gained in competitive nature, I think really gave you a boost. And Chase is one that when he was younger was a little bit shy, maybe a little more like his father at that age. And now, and I'm not saying this was the only thing that attributed to it, but at this point, when I take Chase with me to judge in Alabama, or we went up to Wisconsin together, he's the social one. He's the one talking to all the superintendents. He's the one with that confidence and that outgoing.
That's because nobody likes you and everybody loves Chase.
No, I am not. I'm very socially awkward, and I've admitted that, and I accept it. I'm okay with it.
Socially awkward, yes, but beloved also, yes.
Oh, thank you, Chase. It is fine.
Chase, what do you want? A new car? Why are you sucking up to him?
No,
tonight?
I'm just, people admire him. I talk to folks and they think he's the coolest.
Oh my.
Talk to them.
So, and Ryan, you were involved with we were visiting when Chase was preparing for the national contest, and this is all coming back.
I was very highly invested.
Yes,
extremely highly invested.
And you knew that we were putting a lot of time in for the most part every night that we could. Mm-hmm. And to begin with, once in a while I'd have to beat on Chase to get him to do it. But as we got past the state contest and closer to the national, all of a sudden he's doing some of these things on his own. And it's that competitive drive. That's what I want to get across here. Parents, find whatever it is for that one child that maybe doesn't want to walk in the show ring. There are so many other things that can accomplish a similar end result, and you have to search those out.
Yeah. And again, I think Chase is the perfect story. Like, he's explained it so well that he wasn't a competitive person. He knew what it was like to suck at showing animals, but then he found this, and now he's just, well, that was your words, not mine. I never saw you show one.
Those are the real words. It's very funny because my parents, back when they were trying to encourage me to show, they'd never say, "Oh, Chase, you're not that bad," when they wanted me to show.
Oh, they did the same thing to my brother Randy. Oh, you're fine. You're doing great. No, he sucks. But anyway, it changed. Not only did it change Chase's personality, but I do believe, just like we're trying to stress here, Dale, that it is going to change everything that happens in his life, because now he knows what it is like, that when you put the work in and you do all this and yet you see it happen, you see the accomplishment that you have set forth come to reality, then you will want to do that in other areas of life. And, just a personal story I have, because livestock judging is, one of these other avenues for success. And we're not going to talk about it in depth here because we talked about it on other podcasts, but I did not go to a junior college. And I have had so many people, even when I was in judging and sense and all this other stuff, how did you not go to a junior college, and how are you that competitive? But when you talked about Chase doing stuff himself without you telling him to, I did not go to a JUCO, but those 2 years while those kids were going to junior college contests and talking reason, I wasn't just, sitting at a bar in College Station, Texas. I was doing sets and, watching myself in the mirror, give reasons and all this other stuff. And no one was making me do that. That was me knowing that if I wanted to be at the level that I envisioned myself when I started on the senior college team, I had to put all this prep work in there because these other kids were going to have these experiences that I didn't. And so that just hits the nail on the head. And that's why I think that, again, from photography to skillathon and all the areas in between, I don't care what kid it is, what their personality is, what their strengths, what their weaknesses are. There is something that they can find that they can be successful at, they can be proud of, they can be interested in, and will light a fire under them that will stay with them, not just in this competitive atmosphere, but all throughout their lives.
Very, very well said. No, and I would prefer that you didn't find that photography contest or whatever it is and just participate. You need to compete. That's the moral we're getting at. That's the end product that we're trying to get to. Do things for as a hobby or that you enjoy. But I want each child out there that is in a livestock stock show type family to find their place to be able to compete. I'm fine if it's at basketball, baseball. It doesn't matter what it is. But they have to be able to compete. And Ryan brought up the individual side of it when it's on your shoulders. I know, like the skillathon or livestock judging, you compete as a team, but you also compete as an individual. You take on that individual responsibility. You need to know what it feels like to fail. You need to have that feeling of winning something as big as you can win, because that is what will drive you. I promise. Maybe I'm wired different. We know Ryan is. But I think Chase is an excellent example of just this. So that's all good. Chase, do you have anything you want to throw in there before we move on to Ryan's favorite?
I think I just really want to encourage people to try these other non-judging, non-showing activities, because I think that, and who knows, maybe they just won't find anything in the livestock world, but I know that looking outside of those immediate two really helped me a lot. And even now, I'm going to be a bit of a sellout here and say, try your state skillathon. And if you're in Illinois, try out for your state skillathon. There's a scholarship for the top 10. All you got to make is top 10. And like I said, if you just put in that bit of practice beforehand, if you go online and look for resources, they're there for you to use, and you can improve on your own. And that success pays big dividends. So I genuinely encourage
Chase, I think you should start a skillathon coaching company, and they can pay you.
A consulting company. That would be great.
I would not be the coach. You need to talk to Dale Hummel, Eric Fugate, and Dr.
No. Dale is busy. Dale has things to do.
No, but Chase, I in all seriousness, very proud of you. Very happy that you found something that really motivated you to become that competitive person. All the confidence that came with it, all those things. I couldn't be happier, guys. And that's
me too. And I am also glad it's over, because y'all two wore me out during all that. I am not gonna lie.
And so
don't worry, if I had very sincere, I'd be glad to go back and assistant coach one day.
No, and I'm sure you will fit into that role well, Chase, and very, very, very proud of you. With that said, Ryan, take us into question and answer with your sponsor.
Yes, Basic Animal Health is proud to present the question and answer part of the Beyond the Ring podcast. Basic Animal Health is dedicated to providing natural solutions for your animal's health needs. And this week, we're going to talk about their gut health product. It's a gastric aid and hindgut stabilizer. Gut Health will balance the hindgut pH while helping alleviate gastric distress. It is available in gel or for immediate relief, and a pellet and easy dispense liquid for your daily use. And Basic Animal Health is always constantly innovating and developing products that contain natural solutions for your animals. In the coming months, they will have more products to talk about, but we greatly appreciate Basic Animal Health not only for sponsoring question and answer, but for their many, many, many dollars that they have contributed to the BTRJLA.
Excellent. Thank you. The first question, and Chase, you're welcome to tune in.
Don't do it, Chase. It's a trick. It's a trick. Don't do it.
The first one comes from Casey. Hi, Ryan and Dale. I'd like to submit the following question for your question and answer segment of the podcast. We have always been a swine and cattle family, but my oldest has taken an interest in showing boar goats. While I'm so excited that she is trying something new, we're really struggling getting them to lead. They are so stubborn. Any suggestions on how to get them to walk and move fluently without buckling at the knees and jumping constantly? Thanks so much for all the great info and entertainment you guys give out. You get to see many goats in the ring. You get to see many goats in the ring.
Give you some of Dale's advice. Shoot them in the kneecap. No, I'm joking.
Oh boy.
To be honest with you, I'm going to defer to Dale on this. I showed goats. I've had a lot of people that show goats, and all I can tell you is it just takes lots of repetition. I mean, like hours of repetition. And Dale disagrees with me because Dale is anti-showing at jackpot shows. And the only way that I ever found that my kids that showed goats and these kids that do show goats every single weekend and do it with this craft and skill level that's just off the charts, it's because they go to shows and finally get them broke. Dale will tell you that's the absolute wrong thing to do. Do not go to shows and do that. So I don't know. For me, it was just hours and hours of repetition, walking them, making them lead, all this other stuff. I mean, we have used everything in the world that you can think of, from hot shots to treadmills to walkers, you name it. We've tried it, and different goats were different methods were more successful with them. And so it's just kind of a trial and error thing. I do think the one thing is, try halters, try chains, try whatever, because when that animal becomes more comfortable with what they're being led by, that's the first breakthrough.
Agreed, Ryan. And I'm gonna correct Ryan on this one, because I am not opposed to going to jackpot shows.
Yes,
we do not have our children go to a lot of jackpot shows, but Katie's going to one. She was at one today.
Yes,
so
we
are doing that.
We have trained you.
And with that said, I don't know if I agree with, and this is going to sound terrible, guys, but I'm gonna give it to you as honest as I can, and I'm gonna try to condense it. The repetition on every species is generally good, and I don't want to discourage that in goats. But for some reason, because of the intelligence level of a goat being similar to a pig, repetition in the barn night after night, that goat getting its head and neck jerked up out of them and having to stand in a certain position, they don't always like it. And sometimes when we do it too much, they start to step out more and more the more we do it. So there's a fine line. And Ryan pointed out something. Each one is so individual. There is no blanket protocol for it. There just isn't. And I have found some of our very best showmen in Texas years ago, they would only work those goats basically when they go in the ring at the jackpot shows. Now, granted, they would go to a lot of jackpot shows, kind of like what you're talking about, Ryan, but they would not work those animals in the barn for exactly what I've talked about. I've had other showmen that spend hours in the barn and go to very few shows and have success. With that said, I've had failures on those that go to shows to try to break them, those that spend hours and hours in the barn trying to break them. A goat is a very difficult creature, and I think if there's one thing that I can pass on, the confidence, the goat's ability to read the showman, if they can get away with it, ducking down or backing out, they're probably going to. If it's a more advanced showman or even a bigger showman, or the confidence is there and reads that confidence through their hands and just body language, sometimes the goats cooperate much better. So it is, Casey, it's a challenge. It just is. Do not think that you have to show in a collar all the time. Do not think you have to show in a halter all the time. You show with whatever works best for that goat and that child. We developed a show halter that's basically a shortened, fancier version of a barn halter. Why do we do that? Because it seemed like the goats were used to walking in the barn halter. That's what we put them on them just to get from point A to B in the barn. So we thought, well, let's just continue that. Some goats work great on it. Some of the more aggressive halters work great because they know they can't get away with it. But unfortunately, each one is such an individual. It is a struggle, and I feel for you. The positive part is those families that start with young kids and have these struggles, at some point, they will finally get it. And when they get it, they can walk in there with an average goat and make a bigger difference getting that one to look good than you can in any other species. I truly believe that. And Ryan, would you agree with everything we're talking about here? When you judge all over the country, county fairs, state fairs, national shows, whatever it may be, it doesn't even matter. What animal is the most difficult to get around the ring?
No, it's not even close. It's goats.
No,
it's not. It's not even remotely close. And I do want to say something about what Dale is saying that I agree with, and we normally don't agree. But in what you're talking about, when I was talking about repetition on leading, that was leading. All the kids that I worked with go in same way with sheep. We never really practiced showing those because just what you said, the more times you have them embrace and all this stuff, they'll start to fight back. But the leading part, we did lead them to get them to where they finally would. Now, we didn't practice bracing. We didn't practice setting up. We did that at shows, just like you said, one of your Texas families, the only time that they did that was in an actual show ring at a jackpot show. Same, but on the leading part,
I think that's a great point, Ryan. And I'm going to throw in there, I encourage you. We used to take 2 or 3 out at a time and lead them together with the kids walking together. Take them out one at a time. Goats get sour to one another. They get barn soured, kind of like a pig or a horse wanting to go back to the barn. But if you can break them of whoever that pin mate may be with them by getting them out and make them walk by themselves, that's no question going to help. And I'm with Ryan. I don't think you can walk them too much. I think you can set them up too much, but I do not.
I agree with that. No, I think that's the thing. And again, Dale's talking about me judging all over and all this other stuff. The thing that I think most people bank on, and it's probably a little bit of luck, is not having to go in first. But somebody does have to go in first eventually. And one time it's going to happen to you. And so you can't bank on the fact that, I'll never have to be the first goat to go in, because that's the biggest problem, is the one that for some reason, more than any other species, the first goat out will never walk almost every single class. And a lot of people, if they don't make somebody go in, then they're not going to. And so, but again, I think that's why we were big on making that goat lead by getting that goat to where it would lead by itself, whether anybody was in front of it or not.
And Chase, have we struggled here breaking animals to lead, goats?
Yes, a lot.
Yes, it's been a challenge from day one. I think we've gotten much better at it, but I can't give you that magic recipe. I just can't. And it doesn't matter what show you go to. As Ryan said, that goat that may show perfect 9 out of 10 times all of a sudden has to go in first, and it could be a train wreck. Or they become pin sour within at the show with wherever their pin is located. In the ring, they'll walk towards that pin, but you go around that corner and walk away from that pin. Good luck. I appreciate that most judges are pretty tolerant of it. It's not ideal by any means, but they get that sometimes these goats are just going to be that way. So excellent question, Casey. I don't know that we gave you a real concise answer, but hopefully it helps. Next one is Kurt. I just finished listening to the Sheep Trends episode, which I shout out was awesome. I wanted to make a comment on the fitter section at the end of the show. If the goal is to produce ethical kids and animals, how do we ensure that happens without ag teacher or agent supervision? Some of the large show groups take the animals for a week before the show, with or without the exhibitors present. Ultimately, ag teacher or agent is responsible for supervising that project. How can ag teachers and agents be expected to sign a card for an animal that they have not seen before or perhaps during the show? I will concede that there are plenty of ag teachers and agents that don't know enough about
Whoa.
But are teams and fitters really the answer? Okay, that was a long one. Have at it. Seriously. I'm going to give you the northern perspective.
Oh, my sweet baby Jesus. Okay, stop. Yes. I'm assuming this man is from Texas, because
the way the question is worded, I would say yes.
Because
I do not.
I don't know either, but I'm assuming this man is from Texas, or woman, or whoever it is from Texas, because they're talking about county agents and ag teachers signing the entry cards, which that does happen. Okay, but they have to sign those entry cards for everybody. If you're a county agent or ag teacher, you're not going to be there every time that lamb, goat, whatever has been fed, given a shot, all this other stuff, and you have to sign that anyway. So don't put that shit back on professional fitters. No. No. I ain't having it. Again, this is one of these topics that just makes my blood boil. I will say this again. I do not understand why Why? This freaking stereotypical idiot syndrome that professional fitters are bad. These are people that grew up in this deal, loved it, want to help, want to make a living out of it, doing something they love. There is not a damn thing in the world wrong with that, period. And as far as your ag teacher or county agent signing the entry card, no ag teacher, no county agent is going to be able to sign that entry card, whether there is a professional fitter or not, with any more confidence. Because again, they are not going to know every single time that animal's had a shot, when they every single time that thing has been fed, watered, all that. That is a bunch of bullshit on that. That don't even try that with me. No. Sorry, you lose.
That was great. That was great. Kurt, I'm going to help you out here.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm going to assume he's from Texas, and I don't know. Kurt, we have a lot of great ag teachers across the country. We have a lot of great extension agents across the country, and we
got a bunch of sorry ones too.
Yes, we have all of the above, like you have in any industry. And
exactly. Just like there's a bunch of great fitters, and there are a few sorry bad apples.
Yes, and I'll bring that up as well. But Kurt, what you don't realize,
I haven't even been drinking, and you're giving me heart palpitations.
Kurt, you probably have more good ag teachers and good extension agents that are very capable in Texas, maybe than the rest of the country combined. So good luck when you get out of there. And that doesn't mean there aren't good ag teachers, but in Texas there is more of a specialization on stock shows. It just is, where we
have more of them.
Yes, it's that simple. Ag teachers you can't expect an ag teacher to know everything. If you've got an ag teacher that specializes in horticulture or landscaping or just one species, I mean, we sometimes think they have to know everything. I don't know if that's very realistic. I understand where Kirk is coming from, that ag teacher or extension agent is expected to sign off, but I also agree that you're not going to know everything that's going on. And Ryan,
whether there's a fitter involved or not, you're not going to know. So you're going to have to sign the damn thing anyway.
So
this is a moot point.
With the negative connotation with professional fitters, which
is stupid.
Because there are some very bad apples
you're
there.
A professional
that for some
fitter,
reason,
Dale.
I'm not. I don't know. I'm terrible.
Yes,
I'm terrible.
You are
fitter.
A professional fitter by the definition.
Okay. So anyway, the spotlight tends to get to shine on those bad apples in the professional fitting world. They want to get into that backdrop. They want to look. How would you describe it, Ryan?
I don't care what there are bad baseball coaches in the world.
That's what I'm getting at. But remember,
yes,
there's
there
plenty
are
of
people, and there are a few that take it too far in the professional fitting thing. I am not sitting here with rose-colored glasses saying that every single one of them are perfect. But this is my freaking point that I have tried to drive home since when I was a child showing. There are far more. And when I'm talking about, we're talking about like 90% of the people that do this are doing it for the right reasons. There is 10% of them that will take it too far and get a kid in trouble. Yes.
And the parents should guide them away from those anyway.
But I'm telling you, the 10% that do that, the parents know what's going on. And they're doing it anyway, in my opinion.
Yes. No, it's not good. I apologize there. I got a little distracted, but I knew this one would get you wound up.
But this is the same thing. This is the one thing in this whole thing that we focus on, the 10% that aren't in it for the right reasons, that will take it too far, do stuff that is illegal to get a kid a banner, when the other group far outweighs it and are just as talented and do things the right way. But we don't talk about them. We just lump them with the shit. And it is wrong. It is absolutely wrong.
Are you ready? This one's Sarah. Sarah's never going to ask a difficult question for you. Will not get you wound up. I love the podcast, and my favorite day of the week is Friday to listen to you guys on my way to work. But I show hogs and used to show cattle years ago. I've heard you guys talk about twine on cattle before, and I just don't quite understand what that means. Could you explain how people use it and why?
Yeah. So twine is literally what it is. Like they will take baling twine and cut it up extremely, extremely fine. And then they will put glue on the animal's leg. And it's not just cattle. I mean, they do it on goats. They don't do it on sheep, but there are other things that they use in sheep. And I've never seen a hog twine, but trust me, I've seen more glue in hogs in the last 2 months than I've seen probably collectively. So it's probably coming, but they take that twine and they try to build the leg not only bigger, because normally it's because there's a lack of leg hair, or to sculpt it into what looks like the perfect leg and all this other stuff. And it is literally baling twine that is cut up extremely fine. Now, is twine the only thing they use? No. Some people use, other materials. I've seen goat hair used on flanks. I've seen horse hair used on tail hair. I mean, you name it. But I guess the term we call is twining, but it is taking an artificial substance of some sort, most predominantly baling twine, and using that to help fit, carve, and legs on cattle and goats and, so on.
I prefer that much better than the plaster Paris that we sometimes put on goats.
It's still the same stuff.
It's a mess.
And
Sarah, just for the record.
For the record, since you don't know enough, since you're asking, good for you for asking questions about it. I am going to caution you, though, if this is something that you want to do or whatever, start at home and practice there. Don't do it at the shop, okay? Because it is something that it takes a great deal of skill and multiple times at doing it to where it looks right.
And just for our listeners across the country, some parts of the country, some shows, this is not legal depending on what the show rules are. Other parts, it's perfectly fine. So we need to be aware of where we're at. Sometimes they put those rules in, sometimes they don't. And it's interesting, Ryan, you will see it a little bit geographic, or I guess most jackpot shows are going to be open to things. But when you get to the county fair level and the state fair level, there's a lot of rules that come into play across the country. So be aware. Sarah, do not go to your state fair and try out your twining on that steer that it says right there in the rule book, no twining. Very bad. With that, I believe that was our third one. Chase, I appreciate you jumping in. There is a rumor out that there's going to be an animal behavior beyond the realm coming up soon. I haven't discussed that one with Ryan. Ryan, you're welcome to jump into the animal behavior.
Animal behavior. Y'all going to talk about my behavior?
We're going to talk about your behavior and those damn orcas off the coast of Spain that keep sinking ships.
Oh, the ones that are attacking people?
Isn't that
attacking
interesting?
The boats?
No, not people. The boats.
Boats, yeah, attacking the boats.
Yeah.
Well, let's throw one person in the water.
Do y'all have a guess?
One person in the water, see what happens.
Ooh, Dale, throw Dale.
You are
Dale.
the guess. Oh my! But it'll be good.
I thought you had like a real guess, not me. I just watched the videos. Those things are angry. They're very angry.
I think that is one of the conclusions.
They're gonna be like me at the end of this week. Very angry. I need a break. I'm not joking. I need a break. Oh.
Okay, Chase. Thank you to everybody out there. Until next week. Be safe.
See you later.
Y'all come back now. You hear?